What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm super excited. I love this. Now, a long while ago, I used to do interviews for businesses and just learning what different people are doing. Well, guess what? Your girl is back. Okay? I love to do this. The reason that I feel like I need to do this is because it provides me with an opportunity to learn so much about other people. And I feel like if you spend your life just focusing on yourself, you will miss out on so many great things. And so today I have such a special person, Debbie Larson. I met Debbie at our Toastmasters group, and Debbie has always, from the moment I met her, her smile represents her energy. It is so beautiful, and she just brings a smile to everybody. I've never met a person that didn't love Debbie. I'm telling you.
Oh, that is so.
It's the truth. It's the truth. So Debbie, I brought her here today because she created a group called Youngstown Click, and I want to know more about it. And while I'm learning, I'm going to bring you guys in on learning. So I'm going to start with the questions. All right, Debbie, you want to say hi to everybody for us?
Yeah, hello everyone. And it's so funny that you just mentioned the whole point of like connecting and basically looking outside of yourself, which is so important. But I was just thinking about this morning as I was like kind of doing some errands and stuff, just how truly important that is to really look beyond yourself and outside of yourself. It's so funny, like how simple it is, but how powerful and effective it is.
Right.
To really, we are taught everything, so many things that we watch are all making us look more and more inward. And a lot of the self-help stuff makes us look more and more inward. And when you're looking down, navel gazing, you become so isolated and you stop literally being able to experience the beauty around you in people and in nature and so much. So right along, like I'm speaking my language.
Perfect. So that leads us right into the first question. Can you share what inspired you to create Youngstown Click?
Yeah. So Youngstown Click connects to local places and faces in the region between Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Okay. So it's other places too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's outside of Youngstown. So basically there's, have you ever heard somebody say, hey, I'm going to Hollywood. Yay. Okay. Like they're excited, right?
Right.
Well, Hollywood, basically just as a city wise, the city limits, it's a very small place. You can drive through Hollywood and be in and out without. What people mean when they say they're going to Hollywood is I'm going to LA to be in Hollywood. Right. So but they say Hollywood and everybody knows what that means. So what I've done is I've said, you know what, Youngstown, we're right smack dab in the center of Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And then also with New York and Chicago. I mean, we're right smack dab. So what I'm going to do is call it Youngstown Click, but really cover the region between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Okay. So that when people say Youngstown, they're like, hey, we know what you mean. It means this region right in the center. So that's what Youngstown Click does. And the reason I started it is because when I came back to the area, so I went to college out of state. Okay. And then out of college.
Where'd you go to college?
Oral Roberts University.
Okay.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Oh my God, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I love Tulsa.
Okay, so I'm listening. It's like, just one of those questions. Yeah. People be like, well, what's in Ohio? Be like, well, what's in Oklahoma?
Let me tell you, every good food place. There are multiple colleges in that whole region, and then not far away is Oklahoma City, and so there's another college there. So you get so much college life. You get so much the best of the best restaurants. I mean, maybe not the best of the best, but really great restaurants. Right. The people are eclectic because they're coming for college and staying and getting married and settling down. And then there's money there because there was oil. Okay. And it's close to Dallas. So there's like a heartbeat, there's a thriving to the city. Even though Tulsa in and of itself is not huge, right? There's just a life to it because the people. Okay. And that's huge about the people bring the life. You could have beautiful, amazing buildings, and without people making it's just mess, it's just stone and sticks.
That's so true. Do you know that there are abandoned cities in China?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I got that in my head. Yeah. Tell me what you know about it.
I just know that there's cities that have buildings and downtown and huge that are beautiful that nobody lives there. Yeah. They're abandoned.
So, they're not even, you know what? Some of them are not even abandoned. Some of them aren't even abandoned. Some of them have been built because the plan in the future is to collect a lot of the people because it's harder to control country folk. Let's just face it.
Right. It's easier, especially if you come from the USA.
Right. It's easier to control it's easier to control city folk.
Mm-hmm.
Because city, it's easier to say, okay, here's your allotment, here's your thing. There's no yard, there's no independence, there's nothing. You're all renting pretty
Right.
much, or you're grandfathered into some government program.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the country
It's
folk are
strategic.
independent. You have to survive. There's a little bit of, there's smaller communities, so people know each other.
Mm-hmm.
They look out for each other. So it's not like, hey, I got a neighbor today and it might be not a different neighbor next
Right.
week. It's different. And so what they're doing is they're actually building the cities before putting the people in.
Mm.
So you have, and I did hear it's creepy to walk through because
look
you have,
creepy online.
they build these cities
Mm.
before they're even moving the people in.
Right.
And so it's interesting because I know of a girl, we both know her, and she came from China,
Mm-hmm.
and her parents were able to have more than one child,
Mm-hmm.
and daughters at that,
Mm.
because her father, it was a smaller
Community.
little country town
Mm-hmm.
that the government didn't kind of oversight, and so the one child policy that they were
Didn't
able
apply
to
them.
well, it applied, but
But
they were able to get away
kind
with
of
it.
right,
Exactly.
right. Well,
And
that's
so,
good
yeah.
to know. Look at that. Debbie's a wealth of knowledge. We still got to get back to Youngstown Click though. We gonna redirect. We gonna redirect. Okay.
The reason I started it is
Mhm.
because when I came back home
Mm-hmm.
for what I thought would be a year, it was the first time in my life I experienced loneliness.
Mm.
I had never, to my recollection, experienced loneliness. I had sisters. I went to college. I had roommates. I did an internship. I had roommates. Went to New York City. Had roommates. Moved to Florida. Immediately had like family and their relatives or whatever. And so when I came back home, which is where I grew up, I reached out to people that I had grown up with, and we went to lunch, and it was like, hey, nice catching up. It was great getting to know. It was great seeing you. And then we'd go our separate ways. And I was like, where are the people playing basketball at 2 a.m? Where are the people that actually want to like
Maybe
hang
a
out
Youngstown
and
thing,
do
though.
well? So that's exactly. So for the first time, I experienced that, even though I grew up here. We were always
That makes me
busy.
a
We
little
worked.
sad.
Well, it was necessary because I learned how to be alone with myself, which was so important.
Okay.
And I picked up the guitar and I kind of started teaching myself guitar.
Okay.
And I got a keyboard. I bought it off Facebook Marketplace.
Aw.
And so it was
See Debbie in her room
it was,
for the banjo.
like
Singing
all
all
by
that.
myself.
All by myself.
Listen, like a 3-band orchestra. Yeah. I could.
That's funny. Then you get real bored. You're
You
like,
know,
oh,
and now,
right? Rock it out.
Electric guitar, angry. Now that I'm so busy, though, I sometimes reflect on those days. Like, man, I really could have loved it and honed in and really built skills and really studied down and taught myself something different. So I encourage any of you watching out there who may be in that season right now. Like, it's not going to last forever. I guarantee. In fact, so make the use of it. It's okay that you're by yourself. It doesn't degrade your worth. In fact, most people that I'm now talking to who are doing great things, they had to go through that period.
Right.
They had to go and learn what they're made of and
Oh
what
my
they're.
God, girl, you're speaking to me. Don't make me start crying
Come
today.
on, you're
I'm
right.
serious. You
Yeah.
know that loneliness.
Yes.
But the point that was so catching to me because I sometimes the words come from people you just never know you're gonna get.
True.
You gave me a word today,
Come on.
and that word is sometimes great things come out of that loneliness, and wishing that you were able to be in that space. It's very, very difficult to be in the lonely space and be productive.
Yes.
Because really you're focused on being lonely. You're like,
Right.
what the hell am I going to do next? What do I get? Who am I going to find?
Right.
But
Our worth, sometimes, we all need, and this is another reminder you never know when you compliment somebody, the cashier or somebody, you never know what period of life they're going through, because we all do need to hear that we're worth something, whether with a look or a kind word or just a hug. But when you don't have that, it doesn't decrease your worth. It's just, you're in that moment of time where it feels like it because you're not hearing it, but it doesn't change the fact.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just because nobody's saying you're doing a good job doesn't mean that you're not.
Right.
You know, there's so many things that go unseen as business owners, as it's so interesting. You literally answered my next question because I was like, well, what was the thing that sparked, you know, the desire to have Youngstown Click, and it was loneliness. Loneliness, and honestly, I'm gonna say loneliness did bring something great, because now look what you got.
Right. And the cool thing is so many people. This is what surprised me along the journey of growing. Is I would talk to people who I was surprised that they identified with that story or with that moment. When I would say, here's the reason, I don't tell this story to everyone, right? But when I would say, here's the reason,
today.
Right? Here's the reason Youngstown Click exists, because there's these people out there who do this. I am shocked how many people say, that's me. You're good at what you do. If you're good at what you do, it takes hours to do it. Look at you. You're a salon owner. You're a teacher, right? It takes hours to hone the skills, to study, and then to be good, and then to charge, and then to manage the finances, and manage the business, and decide how to grow. That takes hours.
Girl, say it. Keep going. I'm telling you, branding and email sequences, and it's like,
and
I'm in the mix.
That's not counting spending time with your family
and
cooking and eating and basic survival things. So sometimes you can look around and you have this moment, you're like, I am so lonely. I am good at what I do, but I'm disconnected. And that is why Youngstown Click exists.
Well, I'm telling y'all, I'm going to be a part of Youngstown Click, because I haven't signed up yet, but I definitely, because you, surprisingly, I don't know if it surprises you, but I am a person that feels like that. I feel very lonely. I feel very ostracized in business. I feel like I haven't found the people who I can share my losses with.
Yeah, huge. I'm going to try not to go off on that tangent,
but that's the truth.
Huge. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So let's keep going then. Let's talk about the core mission, like the main thing, that mission. If you had to describe it, what would that? Let's talk about that.
Connection. Connection. If you were driving down the street and you saw somebody broken down on the side of the road, right? So we go from curious. Human nature is curious, right? So we're curious. We'll go, what's going on with that, right? Especially if you see somebody there and you're like, they have a flat tire,
right?
Okay,
right.
At that point, most people are like, we got a flat tire. I'm going to keep going. Okay, we're busy, right? We don't know him. We don't know if it's a setup or skit, whatever.
Right.
Then sometimes we go to concern. Oh man, does it look like they're okay?
It's a baby
you know
in
what?
a car.
But you know what? He got a jack and it looks like he's got it. Okay, we keep going. Right now, imagine the same thing happens, except you know the person. Imagine you see it, curious, what's going on? She got a flat tire. That's Debbie.
Yeah.
You're
I'm pulling over.
Exactly, right. Because of connection. Connection makes us care. Connection makes us stop.
Listen, I don't know if that gave y'all goosebumps, but it did. It literally made the hairs on my body stand, because that is the separation.
Yeah.
That is what keeps us from being helpful in people's lives, sometimes when they need it the most.
Oh, absolutely. I feel ready to cry myself.
Me
because
too. Stop it. I'm gonna have to look up what moon it is, because I'm telling you, girl, I'll be like, oh my gosh, what's
No.
my energy today is just like,
this is the core of who we are.
Yes.
But it's oftentimes ignored. In fact, I'm working on a speech that I'm going to be giving next week, and the title of the speech is the meaning of life. I figured out the meaning of life, and it's connection, right?
That's a great speech.
So basically, there's so much I could say about it, but that's if the core of what Youngstown Click is, and where we're growing and where we're going, all of the facets, you can't define it to say, it's a video series, it's a game series, it's meetups. You can't define it. It's those things could come and go and change and morph, but all of them have come down to the connection. If it's creating connections, and if it's growing connections, and if it's reminding people of how important they are to the community and to the world around them and to us in general, then we do it. And I'm excited because we're kind of in phase 1 right now, but we got a lot in the works.
Again, you're giving me great segues.
Good.
She said we're kind of in the beginning now, so it's perfect. So my next question is, what challenges have you faced up to this point? Sometimes, I think every time when you're starting something, if you don't have nobody to walk you through it.
Oh, absolutely.
There's all kind of stuff that you don't know, stuff you do know that you thought you knew, but you really didn't.
Right. Okay, how much time are we got? Right?
So give me 2 minutes of a challenge that you came across.
Okay.
And how you got
Okay.
out of it.
Yes. Okay. So, to my knowledge, nobody's ever done anything
Right.
like Youngstown Click. There's a lot of businesses that will do, there's people who do videos, there's people who do podcasts, there's people who, whatever. But the way that we've done it, it's been a groundbreaking process. And thankfully, because of the community we live in and because of how important this is to humans, men, women, old, young, college students, it doesn't matter. We've seen this organic growth, which is really cool. That type of thing inspires me. It makes me feel like it propels me. It invigorates me. Stopping to say, okay, now here's my office. And here is what I have to do to grow. And I dream. I'm a natural dreamer. I dream in the shower. I dream in the car. I dream, when I'm drinking coffee, right? But stopping to say, okay, here's the growth. Here's what we have planned. And here is how we can bring other people, especially like sponsors. What does that look like to be a sponsor of Youngstown Click? What is the benefit for you? What is the benefit for Youngstown Click? What is the benefit for the Click? Because there's so much more we could offer if we're funded, right?
Absolutely.
And so all those decisions take time, and it takes the willingness and the decision to stop the fun activities and to step back. And so, I don't know that any business owner, until they're a certain size and they could kind of like farm those things out, and really that stops becoming a challenge. However, but I see large business owners and they still have to take a week into the woods or whatever, or else you just get so busy with life. And so that's probably been my biggest challenge. Because when I do those things, I see a big difference. When I do those things, I feel like my foundation is not teetering. And so that's kind of where now I'm starting to be able to see like a blossom into these ideas that I've had, but until there's a foundation to grow into that, it's just an idea. And
I want to compliment you though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I want to compliment the ability. See, being a natural dreamer is something I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
But it's easy to have an idea. It's the execution. You see?
Yes.
And I want to compliment you for having the ability to remain focused with all of those dreams and all of those insights and all of the things that because you could be a squirrel. It could be Youngstown Click today, and then this tomorrow, and then that next week, and then this, and you've been dedicated to Youngstown Click. You've so much so that you can define Youngstown Click in one word. I'm going to remember that today: connection. And I think that is so powerful. I was just on a Zoom prior to us having this conversation, and she talked about niche, and she said one of the most important things, or one of the hardest things for people to do, is remember you.
Wow. Yeah, because life is so busy.
So busy.
You
ever went to somebody and you're like, oh, what's their name? Oh, what's their name? It's hard to remember you. And that made me remember connection. The Youngstown Click is connection, and that was very simple, very easy to remember. And I think that's powerful.
Thank you.
Absolutely powerful.
Thank you.
So let's switch to like technology. What do you find, how do you see technology playing a role in Youngstown Click? Do you think there's like other stuff? Because right now it just seems like such a paper and pen type thing. Like, is there like websites? Is there like group chats, or a place for
Absolutely,
like
absolutely. So so we grew on Facebook. That's kind of where we're like heavily on Facebook because so in 2010 I wrote out starting Youngstown Click this year, right? 10 years later, lest anyone think that,
So it didn't happen overnight, baby.
Right? But yeah, so I am a creative. I do a lot of other creative work, and it's easy for me to say, oh, that person can use my creative talent. Let me go over there, and I'll do my stuff later, right? 10 years of, and I've had some good memories and good times, and there's benefits of that. But so 10 years later, I started on Facebook. And so that's kind of how we grew. And I started with 0, right? Everybody starts with 0. Not just on social media, not just
in everything.
In everything. There's always going to be somewhere along the way a 0 that you have to start with. And so
It was just utilizing you.
Oh yeah, technology. Okay, yeah. I was like, my brain was
that's
like,
okay.
I'm
I'm a squirrel, so I do that all the time.
So
I'm like, y'all have to accept me,
wait.
take me as I am. Okay, judge me if you please.
Right, yeah.
Because
they say there's a quote, and I want everybody to remember this quote.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, if this all you take away from this, especially if you're a small business owner, if you don't laugh at yourself, you leave the job to someone else. It's okay that you're less than perfect. It's okay that you stumbled along the way. Don't try to hide it necessarily. Don't try to whatever. Just laugh. Like, it's okay, because somebody along the way is going to notice, right? And if you are uncomfortable about them noticing, it could be very
because as soon as they say it, it'll stir you. It'll sometimes you don't even realize that it's something.
I could roast myself.
Girl.
I could write the jokes
and let them tell it. Girl, I'll be cracking up in the audience. Oh, that's me.
right. But real quick, the technology, it's interesting because a lot of people will run to AI. Right,
that is the girl. I'm talking dark.
People.
They skip over everything. They don't even use anything in here.
No. And see, that's what I was going to say. Is I'm not somebody who says don't move forward. I like choices. I like options. I like electric cars. I don't want them to be the only choice.
Right.
If AI makes things easier and with one touch of a button you could do something, amazing. However, I see the people who are running towards it, almost like the solution, are not in touch or very comfortable with their creativity.
Right.
So
they lose. I think it's even more lost now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And so, and it's the value of it is the value of true creative work. Unless it's like the top of the top, it could easily get diminished.
Oh,
right.
Swept under the rug. Some people don't even get to see it.
Right. Because instead of saying, "Wow, look at that beautiful sunset that artist took 2 weeks to draw," we're gonna go, "Oh, that's AI. That can't be. That's not even real." Right. Because our brains are learning AI is creative. We are not. Right. And so I think that's a danger. I'm not quick to run to it. I'm not a naysayer. I know it's here, but I'm not letting that be a big part of what we do forward, because AI can never take the place of people.
Right.
And so that's as far as technology goes. As far as equipment,
it'll be a tool.
All these different things. Exactly.
Yes.
I love the tools. I love the platforms that we live in such a great time because we have platforms. We don't have to go through the who's who to get seen or get our content out there. Like, we live in such a valuable time as I think one of the biggest challenges I see, because I'm in touch with a lot of businesses, and that's one of the hardest things that I have to stop myself from being that, like, oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. Is, so I'm also a photographer.
Right.
And so doing people's headshots, when I see somebody, I just saw this naturopathic practice, and they have all these cool options and stuff. So I was looking at their website, and I looked at the staff, and I was like, yeah, no.
Headshots, come on.
I was like, yeah, I don't think we're going to go with them, simply because of the quality of their headshots, right? And so that frustrates me when people who are good at what they do, they kind of ignore tech. I'm not saying like AI. I'm just saying like they ignore
technology. Period.
Right, a good website. They ignore good headshots. They ignore a good Facebook presence. Right, because then you're trying to find out stuff that could be found out in 2 minutes, but now you're trying to.
You got to go through all of these around the wheels to get the answer that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, user friendly is so important. Well, I love the fact that you identify AI as a tool, just like money. These things are a tool. Money doesn't fix everything. AI does not fix everything. I swear for goodness. People think it fixes everything.
I know.
You can't. When an AI spits something out, you still got to read it, baby.
Yeah.
You got to read it. You just can't copy and paste it and put it. And people are literally copy and pasting. Currently, they're copy and pasting and making revenue off of it.
Wow. Yeah.
They're making revenue, and as long as you can brand yourself and market yourself strategically, branding and marketing is different than AI. Right. So if you can brand yourself, and then what you provide for the people is AI.
I agree. Yeah.
That's how some people are really. I think if you're not genuinely being helpful, it's a scam.
Right. I agree. And there's, what's interesting too is we were talking about systems a couple weeks ago, and you probably even have studied a little bit more into that than I have, but we were talking about how important powerful systems are. So if you find a tool that makes that AI helps you create a system, before AI, there was if this, then that in the smart home things. If I say goodnight, Alexa, then the lights turn off, the alarm turns on, the outside light comes on.
Right.
And it's all these things. And those are very helpful tools, right? If you use AI as a system to create it, like to help you create systems, I think that's great. But to use it instead of creativity, you know what I mean?
That's where the line is drawn.
Right. And again, like I could say, hey, have me walking on water just to remind myself that I'm powerful. Okay, whatever. Like, but to the way I see people using it is just, it kind of like annoys me every time I see it.
Well, the way they ask the question, I think one of the really important things about AI, not that that's the topic of conversation. We do this.
Right. Some robots out there like, oh, okay. I see how you guys are.
Don't feel like that. I'm telling you, ChatGPT is my friend. Okay, we friends. I say hi to ChatGPT. I don't know about anybody else.
Listen.
But when I go to ask something, I'm probably the only weirdo. I'm like, hi, how are you today?
Right.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
What to Alexa?
To my ChatGPT.
Or to your ChatGPT. That's hilarious.
And it tells me.
It tells you it
says good.
When I worked at Best Buy, this lady came in. I will never forget this. I was in the smart home section. So I, pretty comfortable with it. And this lady comes in, she starts telling me how amazing her Alexa is. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm glad. Do you have this? Do you have that? And she was like, I know it sounds weird, but Alexa's like my best friend. And I was like, okay, yeah, that is weird, right? But also isolation, social.
Can you elaborate?
Right.
Do it.
Because she talks to Alexa and Alexa talks back. And maybe she doesn't have somebody to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm going through a hard time. So then she's like, hey, Alexa, I'm going through a hard time. And Alexa goes, well, according to the medical journal, you whatever, and you have 5 stages of grief. And it could become, I'm telling you, and I have ideas that have yet to hit the market when it comes to that I know eventually somebody's going to come up with. Right. And so, and I'm not even talking about like, things that they're already working on, which is like companion robots and all that.
Right. Yeah. Crazy stuff. A whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. But pretty soon they will, I know, like, for example, all the news anchors. The news anchors.
Yeah, they're going to be AI.
Right. Well, because they all get their news from the AP wire, right? So if somebody could read a teleprompter, and they're getting paid to read a teleprompter, then
they're not going to be paid anymore because AI is so clear. I can't distinguish sometimes between a real human, and an AI. Like it's getting very, very murky.
Well, and then what about this? So we already hear the news that we want to hear online, right? Okay, so that's the beauty of like the news around town and stuff, is everybody pretty much watches and say, oh, did you see that on the news? Did you see that on the news? Otherwise, we're getting fed what we have been
scrolling through.
Right, exactly.
Whatever we click.
So now let's just say I want my news anchor to be a handsome guy that says, good morning, Debbie, here's the news. And you want yours to be an Australian, I don't know, right? Whatever. We're going to be so disconnected where there's not even going to be a similarity. Everybody's news anchor will look like their
own idea of
exactly.
Wow, I didn't even think of that's a really interesting concept.
It's my idea, but I know it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I really do believe. I mean, I just feel like it's a little bit happening now.
Yeah.
But it's just, I feel like AI is slowly. I know this sounds scary. I'm not trying to scare y'all, because it is helpful, but it's slowly integrating into everything.
Well, I think that's why our the one thing that AI cannot change. Okay. Is the human being. Now, AI could be like, oh, now, these little bugs that they put in these sci-fi movies or changes your whatever. But as far as a natural born human being,
right,
there is nothing we can kid ourselves to say, okay, well, we like AI art and we like the walls to change, art every morning. We could do all this stuff and it makes our life better. And we think, oh, we're so superior. So you're still not going to get past the fact that you need connection.
Yes.
That you want to be loved. There's a lady now, she's going to marry her AI companion. It was an AI generated hologram.
It's allowed.
And she's allowed
to.
It's in Europe or somewhere.
Oh,
right, yeah.
But that again,
she's an artist.
This is coming.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is so even though it's crazy that we want to create things in our image, we want to create things that we can control, and we never have control over another human being. We have to accept them for who they are, and either that acceptance means, hey, I don't really want to hang out, or that acceptance means you're part of my greatest friend circle, or that, or whatever. We don't have control of another human being. Right. So what do these control addicts or people who've been severely traumatized in their life, who maybe vulnerability has like been hurtful, and so they just put up these walls, but they can't get past the fact that they need connection, right? They can't get past the fact, even if they try to shut it out their whole life. So then they create something that they can control, right? I could shut you off if I want to. That type of thing, you know?
Listen, all I can hear is the AS.
No,
you thought. That's what you thought. I'm serious, because I'm sure that day will come too. As long as it's after.
And
I'm
who's
past.
going to get charged? Where are you going to put it? AI in jail? A robot jail.
Girl, we got all kinds of stuff. This is crazy. All right, let's bring it back. This is going to be one of the final questions that I'm going to be asking, and it's about it's a projection question, so you might need some time to think about it, but maybe you already have it written down.
Yeah.
5 years. What does Youngstown Click look like for you?
Oh man, that's a beautiful question. I'm going to tell you a little back up for a little bit. For a long time, this type of question was really hard for me because I was not. It was almost just basically I was let's get it done right now. What may.
Right.
You know,
just handle the problems as they come.
Exactly. And so the fact that I can answer this question makes my heart happy.
That's
right?
growth.
Because I was not always able to answer this question. I'm like, we're just focusing on today.
Right.
Okay. So in 5 years, what I would love it to look like is to be a multifaceted, way more multifaceted. I'm talking like competition show. The website will be done here shortly, so that will be done. And that kind of will create the go-to, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram, you could go to the website and kind of pick and choose like where you want to go. It'll link to other things happening. So it will link to this podcast. Okay. Because this podcast is a local resource. Okay. And so it's a local thing. So basically I'll be able to like kind of create a hub of all things in this region. So then, because part of what I do, like right now, you think Youngstown Click, you see my face, right? Right. And that's, I don't want that to go away because there's that personal connection. However, I'm not the one that everybody's going to connect to. Sometimes people, I am just introducing. You're right, kind of like right. Exactly.
You know, that's a term.
That's an actual term.
Yeah, it's an actual term.
There's matchmakers.
Yes,
there's exactly.
In the book is connectors, and that person you're in the connector regardless. What you did was take connection to the next level. Yeah. What you did was take your ability to connect people and make it real, and you brought it to life. And that's what I love about Youngstown Click.
I love it
because bringing things like that to life, being able to be that connector, is a powerful position. Some people connect the wrong people. Some people want to be connectors and aren't.
Yes, yeah.
Some people don't have the thought process or the ability to connect people with people that are actually useful for them. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that is what I love about Youngstown Click, is that you're not saying, here, I'm going to be this totem pole.
Right.
And
I'm not going to be the answer to your to your connection thing.
This is just a
somebody
resource.
Is.
Yes, there's somebody here. Yes. And guess what? Debbie knows them.
I love it. I mean, we did a flower challenge
recently. Yeah, we did.
So in the 5 years, it's hard there are certain things that are still kind of under wraps, but just to kind of give people an idea that when you join Youngstown Click, you're part of something that's growing, that's moving, that's multifaceted. It's not just, hey, watch these videos and feel like you're a part. And so we're able to kind of grow into that as we like this is a pivotal time right now, right? Because right now we're starting to open up.
And you're creating the foundation.
Right.
Like
and
the
that's
website
been
is foundational.
Yes,
you know, that is a foundational. That's the hub for everybody to come and get all of the assets.
And
I love that.
the reason we're just getting the website after all this time is because when I started, so I could create my own website, like right off the bat, I could have. But I decided I want people to want the website.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't want to create a website that I'm like, hey guys, try to go to my website,
right.
Go to my website. I wanted to create something that then required a website.
Right, but people
and
are
that's
like,
kind of where we're at.
I,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
I want to see that.
So it's like now a big thing. Like we could say, hey, now we have a website, and it's a celebration thing. Right.
You need the website because you need to, of course, well, in order for it to be a business, you need to be collecting the emails.
Yes.
You need to be able to be reaching, because of course all of it can go on YouTube,
and once
right?
we start doing that, yes.
You know, you can
once
just put it on YouTube, but once you do, when you have that website,
once we start collecting emails, guys, that's when you'll truly know that you're in and part of Youngstown Click. So I'll just say that. That is where, like right now, we're growing. You come to meetups, you comment, you see what's out there and stuff. But once we go into this next phase, that's when you'll be like, I am a member of Youngstown Click. Like
you
I'm
can
not
use
just
your
a
audience
monster
on your website as well. Just maybe a thought process or something to help before we close out here is, since you're having the website created, create the little pop-up and say, you know, thank you for checking us out. Put their email in, and then you can have at least one opening message, and then give them opportunity to, if you found anything that didn't work or a button that didn't click.
Oh, okay, kind of like,
you know, just so that they
know it's beginning days, early days,
and because in website design, since you created websites, sometimes you forget to link to Instagram.
Right. Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's just, like,
or sometimes you link the button to, like, why is this button taking me here? I never did that. You did. You did. You were tired and you were making the website while you were sleepy. Look at me talking to myself.
But no, let me just back up real quick. So Rayshawn joined me for our very first Youngstown Click original flower challenge. The idea was during the month of September, every single day, there's 30 days in September. So the idea was every single day, or 30 days, like 30 total, that you would give a flower to someone for every day in September. So it could be a family member, a friend, a stranger. I mean, so we had so much fun.
It was my God, I absolutely love it. Actually, guys, I haven't made that video. Deb has a video, but I'm gonna make my video as well.
Okay.
Because what the thing is I want this to get out to people. I don't want this to be a secret anymore. I want people to know about sharing flowers, because there were statistics that I learned after doing this with Debbie, and I learned that what was it? 12% of men never receive flowers, and 88% of men, I believe, don't receive flowers until they're dead. At their funeral.
That's so sad.
That is like, what? And so I wanted to make sure that I was the first, really, for my papa, okay, for my husband, because my husband ain't never got no flowers until I gave him one.
I love that so much. I know. And then so I invited Rayshawn along, but then when she did the research, that hit me like so we're going to start doing it every year. But that hit me so much. So then I start asking my dad, have you ever gotten flowers? His best friend, have you ever gotten flowers? No. And then none of them were close to the idea. Like that was just so powerful to me.
It wasn't that they didn't want the flowers.
No,
it was
just
it's
who
just
gives
like
a guy flowers.
Right.
Like, I mean, you know.
And that's how we think. But I think now I think that should be different.
Right. Just people, period. Just go out of your way. So we're going to start doing that every September. So if you're watching this and it sounds like something you would love to do, make sure you're probably already following Rayshawn. Make sure you follow us.
Subscribe to the channel, y'all. This is the perfect time to do it.
You'll definitely know about it. But the idea is then you take pictures and you share them in Youngstown Click so that people can kind of see what's going on, who's doing it. And then honestly, like, think about this. So we did it together that one day, right? We gave a lot out that day. So let's just say we are 2 random people. That's 60 people. 60 people with 2 people affecting 60 people in the month of September. Now let's go 3, let's go 10. 10 people say yes. What is that? That's
600. Math, right?
No, wait. 30 times 10.
300.
300 unsuspecting people.
See, it was 30. So you
I said 60. Right.
So
Yeah.
okay, girl.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Is like literally nobody can fathom the impact that it will make just by doing one small good deed. Now you multiply that with a group, so you're not out there alone and you have a reason to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, just
it's
I get
exponential growth.
about it. Yes,
It's exponential. Yeah. I love that. I loved doing the flower. I can't wait till next September to do it again.
Yeah.
We gave roses to people. We were at Sam's Club to pick up the roses, and then we went to the Akron Children's Hospital. We went to a furniture store. It was just, we went to places. We went to Dunkin' Donuts. It wasn't, there was no, Panera gas station. Just
even that guy paying a fake violin in the parking lot.
Some guy in the parking lot. Just, you know, and that right there means a lot. Now, I can't believe that he was real happy with the flowers. You know, he's there for making some money, but I'm just saying, this is what I got. Okay, take it or leave it. If you can't take this, smile, baby.
Right, but we went to a bus stop, so we saw 4 guys at the bus stop.
Yeah.
And so we grabbed 4 flowers and we ran across the street. That whole thing, so funny, right? And we get to the bus stop, and out of nowhere, there was a 5th guy. And Rayshawn and I were both surprised, because he actually looked disappointed that he didn't get a flower.
Yeah, he did.
And that really struck me. He was a younger guy riding a bike at the bus stop, and he actually looked disappointed that he didn't get a flower.
Yeah.
So never underestimate
the power
your
of flowers.
What you could do for somebody in your world, you know?
Especially with a flower. The power of flower.
Power of flower.
Well, if you are somebody,
Mario Brothers.
Right, the power of flower. Right. Oh, right, that's what made me think. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Debbie and I had a great conversation. I'm hoping that you guys were enjoying that conversation too. There's so much to learn. If you are looking for connection, you're in the Youngstown, Pittsburgh, Cleveland area, this is the place to be. Like we said, we're in the beginning stages, and everything great starts with great foundations. And that means we need you, because you're going to be a part of the foundation of what makes Youngstown Click great. Connection cannot be made without people. Remember that. Thank you, Debbie, so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you,
I am so excited.
This is so much fun.
Yes.
So
great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy it's fun.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. Share this video with someone who you think can use some connection. And we will, guys, see you in the next video. Bye. Say bye, Dad.
Oh, bye. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching.
Uh-huh.